Alright, quick breakdown. Tidal 55, Aquaclear 50. The basket has a lock. The basket is just freeform. It does have facility for overflow. See that in the back? There's little gaps there in the back. So if the media clogs, it can actually bypass the media, but it's a much more graceful bypass. On top of that, if you look in the front here, it's supposed to tell you when it's clogged by this little float here. See that? Lifts that, see? I mean, it's not that useful, but I guess it's better than nothing. Adjustment here is nice. Some of the complaints you hear is that it sucks in water from a bunch of places, which it does, but that's okay for most people. If you look underneath, you can't even tell. There's holes on the bottom of it, there's holes on the top of it, there's that hole at the bottom there. Realistically, it pulls from all of them. So if you want something that has a single suction point, this isn't that, but I don't think it matters. I mean, look at all the leaves and stuff just caught on it, not to mention the ones on the bottom have leaves stuck on it too, so not concerning. But if you were going to run two, it's not a bad idea to, hey, maybe have something like an Aquaclear, but my problem with the Aquaclear is that it's just a pain in the ass. So, I mean, this is pretty freshly packed, and you can see it's already like running right at the top. The water level there is pretty high, and you can lower it. But that's, you know, it's not great. Under here, you can see I put some egg crate, and so the reason I do that though is because if you let this side push in, the whole basket lifts up. There's a tab here, and it only locks in on the one side, so that's why I put this magnet here. There is a tab, the plate that holds, basically that plate that this thing is sliding back and forth in. There's like a plastic plate there that has a tab to lock the basket in, but it only locks it on this side. In either case, it's you know, 20-30-year-old design. So why do I run both on here? Well, I like redundancy. If I put one big one on here, it probably wouldn't get flow on the whole tank. So I have both for now, and I do like this setup. I just I wish I could trust the Aquaclear wouldn't flood. I mean, that's basically been the problem, is that either the basket will lift or it'll flood or this or that. The Tidal, I really have no such concern. I've never had it flood. I've never had it do anything bad, really. I mean, worst thing I've ever done with it is maybe lift out the basket while it's running and dump a bunch of dirt into the tank, but that's not really specific to this filter. You can pretty much do that stupid mistake on any filter. What else? Oh, this is tank. This tank is looking good. I'm really pretty happy with this tank. This is the new 40 breeder planted. I combined the 20 and the 36 into one tank. So all the fish from both of those tanks are now in here. So you get the rummies and the rasboras, pistos and the rams, glass cats, plus I even got, what else is in here? The freshwater goby, and the Siamese algae eaters, the correct ones, that actually eat the beard algae, not the ones that eat Java moths. You can tell because they have that black spot underneath them. Anyway, and good luck actually getting that on video. This is kind of almost like, this is my guest room essentially, but now I've also got my my 20 long in here, which was the one planted tank, but now it's a quarantine. Got some thread fin rainbows in here, and they're doing all right. If I don't know if anyone remembers, but I had a video of when this, well, it wasn't this tank, it was this same location, it was that 10-gallon, and I had a thermometer on here reading 110 degrees because of that cobalt heater that failed. I've got just the same Aqueon Pro that was in here when this used to be the planted tank, but it is on a heating controller now. I'm not screwing around anymore, even on a quarantine. I can't believe that still. But Yeah, these are my new thread fins. They sold them as pairs, so this is 3 pairs. And so there's 6 of them. And I'm pretty excited to get these into the 40 breeder. So they're literally just going to move across the room to the other side. This tank, of course, of all filters, has the Aquaclear 50's cousin or something, bastard stepbrother, the Fluval C3. So from a technical perspective, this motor is actually identical to the Aquaclear 50. This is a Hagen motor or whatever, Fluval, Hagen, whatever, they're the same company now. So it's the same motor, but of course the design is completely different on this thing. With the little biomedia basket, and I don't know. You know, I was tempted to run one of these on the, to run this on the 40, and I still may, honestly, if the Aquaclear gives me more shit. I don't like these because they don't always restart very well. Then again, neither do the Aquaclears. They basically have some of the same problems. The thing I do like is they don't ever really flood, usually. I couldn't say usually, I was going to say, there's a few times. So, they kind of have all the same problems as the Aquaclear, except it's weird trays instead of the basket, so... I guess the only thing with it is it doesn't really ever have that problem of lifting, but instead it has this problem where it has this thing to spray. Oh look, look, I just touched it and it's making noise now. What did I do? Essentially, I worry that this could flood. Just look at this corner here, how close the water is. It's just a little sketch for my liking. I don't know, the tolerances are just a little too close on this thing. I've never had one flood, but I just see the potential. Like the Aquaclear, hey, I've actually flooded it, although usually it was when I was messing with it. It wasn't like it just flooded out of the blue. Although I'm sure that can happen too. Needless to say, I kind of thought I would do a little roundup between these 3 filters, and ultimately I do think the Tidal is my favorite. And I do also have the bigger Tidal on my other tank, the 75. And I was debating, should I just put a 75 or even the 110 on here just by itself, but, I really like the dual sort of circular flow. You've got this flow kind of going like this on both sides of the tank, I like that. And I still run the air stone just for, I guess, redundancy, although now that I have 2 hang-on backs, I really don't need it. So I might even ditch the air stone, we'll see. But, for now, it's there. Assuming these hang-on backs run reliably for the time being, then maybe I'll remove the air stone. We'll see. I'm usually like like to have redundancy, but I guess that is kind of triple. And this stand is a double stack stand, so there will be another 40 breeder below. What will go there? Likely a salt quarantine. And possibly for some golden Dorfeals, we'll see. It might even be the permanent home of a golden Dorfeel, but we'll see. It might also go into one of the reefs if I am feeling, I don't know, adventurous, let's say. Might lose all my firefish is what I'm slightly worried. But anyway, this is the 40 breeder, and I'm pretty happy with this new setup. I'm really enjoying this tank. It's some of the same rocks and plants, and I mean, it is the same rocks and plants. In fact, the one cave rock, even. There's only one rock, actually. Or, well, one big rock, I should say. I still have some of these little guys over here, these little rocks. These rocks are actually from my tank as a kid. I think some of them actually came from my grandparents' tank. Stole them from my own tank. So these rocks have come quite a long ways. Well, those 2 on the bottom. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this layout came out. It's just, it's really nice. But we'll see how these filters all work out. Ultimately, if this Aquaclear doesn't work out, then maybe I'll move the Fluval over here. But, we'll see. The other nice thing about the Aquaclear is I like its down tube a little better. It's just sort of 2 of them that connect together, but it doesn't leak as much. I feel like this one here is like the telescoping one where you can sort of just slide it around. But I feel like it leaks more. Like I feel like you'll get like air leaking in there, and it doesn't like to prime as much. Like it'll kind of suffer at starting up when it's when the water's low, basically. I should add, that is one other maybe disadvantage of the Tidal, which is that, you know, you see where there's a little kind of water line? That is the minimum water level, so it does require the tank's water level to be probably a little bit higher than some of the other hang-on bags, maybe by like an inch or two, but I mean, unless you're planning on running your tank with your water like 3 inches down, it's probably not an issue. It more just means when you're doing a water change, you have to shut it off. But the nice thing is when you turn it back on, it just starts every single time. Well, unless it's just dirty and clogged, but you know, any pump will not start if it's dirty and clogged. So, but yeah, it's great. I mean, I've had these filters, I don't know, probably over a year now. The Tidals, the Aquaclears, I mean, shit, I've been using those since I was a little kid. So, you know, 20 plus years. And, you know, Aquaclear, they've been around forever. I mean, there's a reason people like them, the big open media basket, but to pretend that there's no flaws with it is kind of, you know, you're fooling yourself. I mean, it's a flawed filter, but the flaws are somewhat tolerable for some people. For me, you know, I would probably exclusively use Tidals, if not for the fact that I do like having this sort of two different methods approach. You know, this one sort of sucking from the top, bottom, everywhere. This one like an exclusive suck from the bottom, and you know, it's nice just having something different. If you're going to be redundant, two of the same thing, two slightly different things. You know, sometimes the two slightly different things just means, you know, if one fails in one way, the other one just can't fail that way. So you just have two different sets of variables. So sometimes that's a good thing. Other times, hey, buy 5 of the same thing, and when one dies, swap it out, right? But that's not every situation. I know from my my wave pumps and my Jabal wave pumps, that pretty much is the situation. One dies, buy another. But you know, that's just how you want to play it. The razor blade method of equipment. But what else to show here? This is the same current light, but it's only the 24-inch because both of the old tanks were 30-inch tanks. You know, had I known I was upgrading, I would have bought a 36-inch one, but oh well. But it doesn't really matter too much because I'm running this big T5 in the back. It's just a single bulb, but it really looks nice. I'm really happy with it. And, the LEDs are on the controller here, and the T5 is actually on a smart home outlet, that white outlet down there. Just turned it on and off at some programmed times, but I can also like turn it on and off with my phone if I want to override, which is nice. So yeah, that's the new 40 breeder, and a quick rundown of the Aquaclear 50 and the Tidal 55. I should note, I think this is almost an unfair comparison. I think the Aquaclear 70 would actually probably be the fair comparison. The Tidals are all slightly higher rated, gallon per hour wise, even though they've sort of sized them in a similar way. But I think even size wise, the Tidal's actually bigger. Like if you look there, I'm pretty sure it actually is bigger. So you might want to consider that. I would say, you know, they're close enough that it probably doesn't matter, but flow-wise, it's probably somewhere between the 50 and 70 as opposed to closer to the 50, which it's definitely more. So, and even just looking at the surface agitation, you can see it's a fair bit more. So, do keep that in mind, but of course it is adjustable. And I have actually, I mean, it was running on the 20 long, and I had it turned down a little bit because on such a small tank it did stir up quite a lot of water, but even so, on a 20 long with it turned down, it was fine. So I don't see any, unless you're putting this thing on a 5 or 10 gallon, which I don't even know if it would fit, you'll be fine. I would say 20 long is probably about as small as you'd go with this 55, and they don't make a smaller one. So smaller than that, maybe go with the Aquaclear, or maybe the Fluval. Who knows? The Fluval C3 or something, the smaller Fluval. Honestly, I should definitely do a comparison of those, maybe exclusively, but because the Tidal honestly beats them both. But hey, that's my opinion, right? Some guys trying to convince me on otherwise on Facebook, this or that, on my groups and comments. I don't know why. You know, I've used both of these things for years and years. Well, the Aquaclear anyway. The Tidal maybe a year and a half, 2 years. But yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna make it up. I mean, I used to love Aquaclears, and now it almost seems like a joke to me. So, you know, that's my opinion. Someone might disagree. Someone might complain about the suction method or how it works. I mean, honestly, use some ingenuity. If you really cared about that, you pull that little plastic cover off, this little black box, like right here, this little black box, you pull that off, you could basically just make a single suction point. Just make like a tube, a little L that comes down, just like this one does. And you could basically make it so it only pulls from the bottom, if you really wanted to. And, you know, that's my point. You know, some of these people complaining about it, it's like, if you really wanted to work around that problem, you could. And it wouldn't even take me more than 5 or 10 minutes to do it. But I don't even think it's a problem. So I have no intention to do that to mine. But it's just to make the point that if you did want it to be like a single suction point like this, as opposed to sucking from here and here and here, you could modify it pretty easily, even though I have no intention to do so. But, you know, if you really did want something to suck like that, hey, maybe just buy the fucking Aquaclear, right? So, yeah. That's the new 40 breeder. You know, we'll see how this goes. I like running them both. And, assuming the Aquaclear doesn't keep flooding on me and this new egg crate method works, then I'll probably just leave it like this. Because it's pretty low maintenance this way. I was going to put the Eheim canister, the 2217, but I might actually just not use it at all. I mean, I know there's a lot of people who love those, and hey, I love it too, but problem is I never clean it, and that's kind of a problem. I mean, I'm just lazy about it. With these, I actually clean them because they're just right on top. I pop them open, the thing slides out. You know, there's no excuse. In the canister, you get leaks, you get seals, you get this and that. Who has time for that shit? Not me anymore. I've got 4 fish tanks now, actually. I was going to say 5. This is now combined 5 down to 4. So, 4 fish tanks now. But, you know, I don't have time to, you know, pull open canisters and clean things. I mean, I've got reactors and things. I've already need to do that to you. So, as part of my main filtration, it's just not ideal. So, that's it. Hang on backs. For smaller tanks, anyway. Bigger tanks, you know me, sump them. Until next time, folks.